Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a Talk About It podcast. I'm Lauren Fulmer.
I'm Victor Dantas.
And today we have another guest lined up. Very excited to get this one done today. Mandy Balser, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good. Very excited. Mm-hmm. You're being behind the mic or even on the camera is nothing new to you. Why don't you go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself to our followers and listeners
Absolutely,
today?
yeah. So my name is Mandy Balser, and most people probably know me because I worked for Galesburg Broadcasting for 16 years as their creative director. So I was kind of like the radio gal. And then recently I just decided to have a midlife crisis, probably, right? And I have gone out on my own and created my own little business agency, Truly Madly Mandy. So I work out of my home and I have a little recording studio. So yes, this is home to me. This is like a safe space.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Behind a microphone. Yeah.
And so how many, I'm sorry, and you did say it, so you spent X amount of years at Galesburg Broadcasting?
16, yeah. So my career was, could drive, and I drove away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, after 16 years. So it was, that was a huge change. It was a lot, really.
Well, a lot of times you get out of, call it what it is, after 10, 14, 15 years, we get into a comfy zone.
Totally.
And maybe even it gets to a point where you start feeling like, man, I'm just going through motion, or I need like a new spark, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get those. It's just whether or not they take the jump and actually go see if they can do this or not.
Yeah. So I never stopped loving the work. That was the thing. I mean, I wrote commercials, recorded clients, did voiceover stuff, produced. I never stopped loving the work, but I did start doing voiceover on the side. Really about the time COVID hit, I kind of started doing that, and I saw that there was a real opportunity there to make a decent living from home. But in order to focus on that, I knew I needed all my time to do it.
Right.
So I was, when you have a side hustle, and so many people do, you give your 8 hours or whatever to the main job, and then you try to form whatever is left at the end of the day or weekend and give it to the side hustle. But this was growing exponentially, and I thought, if I can give it all of these hours, I really think that there's something here. But I didn't want to walk away from the people that I have had the privilege of writing and producing for all these years. So I have fortunately had several people come along and work with me. Watson Thomas Funeral Home, for one. I know you guys had Mark Thomas on, and he's a great guy. Him and Trisha have continued to support me in that way. And Advanced Rehab, they have come with me. The Orpheum Theater. So just some, really special people that I have loved writing for these 16 years. And I do hope to grow that as well. But I would say the primary focus of what I'm doing now is voiceover.
So you primarily have a studio in your house? That's what you said? Yes?
I do, yeah. It's in what used to be my dressing room.
Okay.
So I have I think it's from vocalboothstogo.com. It's like PVC pipes, and then you use sound dampening like curtains that go over it. So from the outside, it looks like a place you would go to get your tarot card reading. It literally looks like a little black tent in my room. Mm-hmm. And it's like, 6 feet by 4 feet. And I have a table about this big and monitors and my mic. And
That's nice.
And I go in there and I just, I audition like a mad woman. When I get the opportunity to write and produce, then, I get to work doing that. But yeah, that's kind of where the magic happens.
So the bulk of your work is copywriting, basically writing the text and do the voiceover as well? Or do you do podcasts as well, other type of content?
Well, I was actually just telling Lauren, I am getting involved in a podcast. Okay. I worked with Eric Hansen, who is pretty well known. He was the morning show host on FM 95 for about 14 years. He's a creative genius. And he and Ted Bevenauer, who had a morning show together for quite a while, they roped me into doing my own little podcast. Mm-hmm. So we're doing, it's called A Little Bit Off Track. And we're going to interview local artists and have them come on and play music or talk about whatever it is their art is. And, just kind of shoot the breeze.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That
so
awesome.
That's kind of a side hustle in addition to this new thing. But Primarily, I do a lot of voice work.
Okay.
So I was going to jump back to that because I know some people listening, they might not being in the industry know what it is. So what I'll let you go ahead and share. What is voiceover voice work?
Yeah. A lot of people are like, how the heck is that a living?
Right.
So you just think about every YouTube video, every e-learning project, every tutorial, every commercial, radio, television. Everything needs a voice, right? Especially a lot of videos show the graphics and the visuals, but then you lay a track of a voice saying what you want to have said. So I have a website where people can find me that way, but I get most of my work through platforms where I have a profile, and then they have customers who post auditions. So then I just go and I read a few lines of whatever their script is. And maybe they want 10 people, maybe they want 20 people, 50 people to submit. They listen to those and then they pick the one they like the most.
So someone from Australia will have like their bullet point. Like, I'm Australian, I can do this or these voices.
Yeah.
What are your bullet points?
Yes.
Like, how do you describe
Absolutely.
Mandy's voice?
So Mandy is upbeat and conversational, genuine, authentic. I like to make people feel like it's not a radio announcer voice, because we all want someone who feels like they're not just reading a script. That's really, I think, the art of it,
right,
is that you sound like you're not reading when you are, in fact, very much reading. So yeah, I think that's who I am. I can be sultry if that's needed, or very professional. I've done some medical, those disclaimers at the end of medical commercials.
Yes.
Yeah, where they tell you your eyes are going to bleed and whatnot. Don't worry about it. You should still take it. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, don't take it if you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Don't take it if you're allergic to this thing. That one always cracks me up. So yeah, I do love to do the commercial stuff probably the most. And I do like the e-learning things because you often get to play a character that needs to sound like a real person. I do have a theater background. I've done a lot of community theater, and I love to do that. So
Nice. That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you ever get any requests for like a hungry Brazilian?
Not a lot, but I will know where to come now.
If one comes up, I might know a guy.
Okay, good. That's
Why
good.
do you look at me like
But this is the thing. I think we can. We have I can see us working together. We do a lot of branding videos, corporate videos, branding campaigns, and that's something.
Right.
Yes.
I was telling
That's
her
what I
about
heard.
that as you were finishing up your lunch.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing, is walking around. I was showing her around the place. Yeah, absolutely. Opportunities to be able to partner on many things too.
Do you do a lot of stuff for the radio, like radio commercials as well?
Yeah, radio commercials, TV commercials. I've had clients as big as Marvel, which is really exciting. I did the voice of an app for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've voiced for Campbell's Soup. So that's cool. And Templeton Rye Whiskey. So you land some pretty decent gigs.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really
and
cool.
that lends some credibility, to the people who, maybe don't know what you do, and they go, oh, okay, well, if you're good enough for that brand, then I think you'll work for mine.
Have you thought about Fiverr? Are you on Fiverr?
I am on Fiverr. I haven't gotten too much into Fiverr because I've just been quite busy with, the platforms I'm on at the moment. But I'm not opposed to Fiverr.
I would say there's a huge demand on Fiverr for a woman voice, American accent on Fiverr. Yes. From all over the world, people look for those.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a big market there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I need to branch into that for sure. Yeah. I have the profile and all that. I just, I guess the thing about Fiverr that kind of not scares me, but made me hesitant was that the way you have to build the pitch.
Yes.
That's a little different than what I'm used to. So that kind of gave me pause, and I was like, oh, do I know what I'm doing here?
How do people usually find you? Let's say someone in California that is looking for a voiceover, a female voiceover.
Yeah.
How do they find you?
I'm on the Voice Realm. It's just thevoicerealm.com, and you can search Amanda Balser. I'm also on Voice 123.
Oh, okay.
So those are the two primary platforms.
And those are used across the world?
They are, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so like 2 weeks ago, I got to do the voice of a French woman makes these films about motherhood. And I got to do the voice work for her. And then the following week, I did an e-learning project for a lady in Germany. So, you just get to work with people from all walks of life, and that's pretty special.
Right.
I feel really fortunate. And from home, yeah. And then you have, people like Mark and Trisha who are like, hey, we still want to work with you, and please write our spots. And I love to do that. I mean, copywriting, I love doing the voice work, and it is probably the more profitable end of what I'm doing, but copywriting is my favorite thing.
It's the actual message you want people to get.
Yeah. Right. And, I have just a creative writing background. Like I went to Carl Sandburg College on a creative writing talent grant. And then I went to Western and I got my master's degree in communication. So just finding a way to convey a message in a way that gets heard, because I think we're just so inundated, all day long. You can't turn your ears off.
Right.
Right. And that's kind of the powerful and mesmerizing thing about sound. But also, then people don't hear you because they're trying to tune you out.
Right.
So if you can say something in a way that cuts through whatever's going on, the children in the back seat, or, your boss at work, or whatever's happening, and just kind of cut through that, I think I feel like I'm having a moment with strangers,
right,
who might hear my voice and just take a pause. And
that's what I've always said, it's our job to turn the light bulb on, right? And that's exactly what you're explaining. People are listening, you're driving, you're in La La Land, and then all of a sudden you hear something that's like, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
And you can't unhear something.
Yeah.
So
and I don't
true.
know how many, we won't go in, whatever. There's so many different jingles, right? That people will and I hate to sing, but you sing it word for word every time. And that means it worked. It did its job.
Well, even you said you do the 90s at 9. I mean, that is total testament to the power of sound, that these songs come on from 20 years ago. And how do we know these words?
Oh, yeah.
How? This is amazing.
And not only that, some people will jump it right back into dance move that they were doing in 1993.
Whether they should or not.
Right. It doesn't look as good.
Yeah, well,
but they probably still do it.
Do you have some dance moves?
I'm pretty sure.
93?
I got tons of them.
Yeah, I think that's another segment.
You don't want to see them, but I have.
I do.
Too.
They might be. You might want to see them, but they're not good. Is what I should say.
Okay.
If I'm ever out on the dance floor, it is 100% to just have fun and make people laugh. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, that was sick."
Yeah.
Lauren's really good.
What did you used to do when you were 20?
When I was 20,
were you in this area? Yes, right.
no. When I was 20, I would have been in Champaign, Illinois.
Okay. And you would go out a lot?
Is that where you went to college?
I did 2 years in Champaign at Parkland College.
Okay.
And then I went there with every intention of moving on to the U of I. And I went to Arizona on spring break and was like, holy smokes, I'm moving here.
Really?
And I literally, so that was in March of 2003.
Okay.
And August 1st of 2003, I loaded everything up and went to Arizona.
Wow. So, what was it about Arizona? The weather?
Yeah.
The dry humidity?
I loved it. I never ever wanted to leave and really miss it, to be honest, especially this time of year. Every time you have to go shovel your driveway or the weather's cold.
That's fun.
It's coming too.
Arizona is just a hot, sunny day every day.
Yeah.
I think it rains around 13 times a year.
That's perfect, man.
It's perfect. I loved it. So.
You like the cold?
I don't like the cold. No, I like the seasons.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for fall. There's something about fall that's kind of melancholy and, it's mournful.
Are you rushing out to get your pumpkin spice? Are you one of those girls?
I'll drink a PSL, but no, I'm actually right now the caramel brulee latte. Yeah, that's.
See, I love hoodies. That is one of my favorite parts of fall and even winter. I love hoodies.
Or a bonfire.
Sure.
I hate
really?
When it gets cold, I don't like it.
But is that because of how you grew up, or just never?
Of course, yeah. Brazilians don't like the cold naturally.
Right.
But when it gets cold, the worst thing to me is my back. My back literally starts to hurt very bad when I'm
really?
cold. So
it's probably because you're like clinched up.
You're squeezing.
But I cannot be like that.
Yeah. Well, they make these jackets that are heated. Have you seen those?
I've seen
yeah,
those.
Maybe you just need to wear one for 3 months.
Yeah, but it just gets this time of the year. I just don't leave my house. I stay inside the whole time.
Yeah, I have an old lady tip for you. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I need an old lady.
Yeah, I always on my couch have a heating pad where my spot is. And I don't know why everyone doesn't do this, because it's just a lovely thing to have. You just crank that sucker on 6, sit back, and you're cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that makes the winter months a little bit more bearable.
I mean, my house, I already put my heater on 75, 74.
Ooh, yeah,
so
that's
pretty warm.
That's like
that's
like
where
what,
we keep ours
That's
too.
what they keep the nursing homes
Yeah,
at. What
yeah.
are you talking about? I keep mine on
the
65.
problem is outside. It's not even inside. You know?
So you will freeze at my house. Mine's on 65.
No,
That's just
it doesn't
mean.
work.
I don't.
Do you have a fireplace?
No.
No, you just like it that.
I come home from work. I'm like sweatpants, hoodie right away.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna. If I'm watching TV, I got a blanket or whatever. I don't.
Sure.
I'm not sitting there uncomfortable. I would if it was 76.
Yeah.
I would be very uncomfortable.
You wouldn't be wearing a hoodie and
no.
sweats.
Yeah. Would you walk around in like shorts and a t-shirt at home?
Nothing but the radio on, it sounds like.
Right.
Well, it's 7 months of the year. You need to feel like I need to feel like I'm in Brazil at least inside of my house.
7 months. It's only November, December, January, February, maybe March.
Allegedly.
Oh, you start
It's
freezing
cold.
in October.
Oh, it's cold
I agree
outside.
with you though. I feel like even though the months or the seasons are only to last 3 months, 12 divided by 4, that's really not the case. Because I mean, winter does seem to drag on for about 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's because it'll like trickle in really early, and then it gets like kind of nice, and then back and forth. That's why I don't like it.
And life gets back in April when you start green grass.
Yeah.
The flowers
The
start.
rebirth.
That's the best part. That's the best.
Oh, that first warm day where people are like popped out
Yes.
in t-shirts and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like
Life is
60 and everyone's in his shorts.
Yeah, that's Midwest life,
So true.
When I lived in Arizona, like it might get to like 60, and people are like bundled up in the stocking caps and gloves, and you're like, being from Illinois, you're still wearing t-shirt.
Yeah. I know perspective is everything, right?
Right.
So Mandy, what's your goals with your podcast? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Did you
sure.
start it already?
Yeah, we have done a pilot episode that we all agreed we were not going to air because we all had worked together, well, Eric and I very recently, and then Ted was with us for about 5 years, but he had been gone for some time. So I really felt like that first episode was more just a therapy session for all of us. We just came back together and, it was kind of a state of the union and where have we been? And so then we decided, okay, yeah, there's still some synergy here and some chemistry. But what do people want? What do people want to tune in and listen to? And I think, music obviously is a huge passion for Eric. And I mean, who doesn't love music?
Yeah.
And then, just focusing on the local scene, we have a lot of talented musicians, but other artists as well. So it's not, strictly musicians. But when you have them onto your podcast, then you also give them a platform to kind of, showcase what they've been doing. And, just a little jam sesh. Everybody likes that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, it's just, I think because they did a morning show, there will be an interest in kind of, what have these two characters been up to? And I dabbled in doing the mornings with Eric, but the time of day, that is a rough lifestyle. Like you have to get up at dawn. And
every day.
Like,
if you're doing the morning show, you kind of have to be there.
And then, then that cuts. I'm not the kind of person that can run on a little sleep. So if I'm getting up at 4, I'm going to bed at like 7:30 because I'm an old lady. And, I'm on my heating pad. I'm real sleepy. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So I just couldn't sustain. I mean, when you have a kid and, getting them to school and that whole morning time is that's a hectic time for a mom. And I was like, I can't. If you ever want to do a midday show, like you call me, but
right.
Yeah. So I think that hopefully there will be some interest just because of the personalities involved.
I would think so.
Yeah. Sure. And then bringing in the local musicians. I mentioned to you, we have Joe Stam is our first guest from the Joe Stam Band. And then Jera from Jera and the Absolutes. And she's like a national treasure, you know, that we have in Galesburg, and lots of people know her. So just getting into these people's backstory and what makes them tick. And
you think you'll get Dave Plunk on there?
You know, I would love to get Dave Plunk, but he is, you know, he's a real private guy. So
for sure.
I don't know that he would, but
yeah, that's one thing you've been in the radio business for a long time. And that's one thing we were just talking about earlier today. So many people are like, oh my gosh, it'd be great to have so-and-so come in for a morning interview, or so-and-so to come on to the podcast. And you're like, but they won't say much. And not that that's a good or bad, just some people are very light on words. My own son is that way, and it's a big struggle for me because here he is, he's 14. I'm like calling him, what's your day, 14? Man? How are you?
Oh my
and he's
gosh.
like, good. You know, and then I'm like, well, you know, what else? Well, and I end up getting frustrated because like, talk to me, man.
Right.
And I've had to do learning myself, you know, as I get older and realize, hey, not everyone never wants to shut up like you. You know, there's some people who actually don't want to talk or and not even that they don't want to talk. You just don't. It's okay. I'm good.
Are you an extrovert? Would you say? Is that how you get charged up? Is by talking to people?
I do it 100%. If I'm sick and have to stay home and I got a few days I haven't seen anyone, like I can feel it like slip into like this depression or something. And being dead serious, like it fills me up.
I get that.
I gotta say what's up or go.
I'm kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah,
I can sense that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to be by myself, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to have conversations with people, but only about things that make sense to spend the time talking.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
like
that's
things
true.
either that I'm interested, or if the person's interested about something that I have to say, then I'm excited for that conversation.
So really,
I don't like the conversation like, "Hi, how are you? Good. How are you? Good.
Yeah.
How's your day going?"
Right.
Like,
the small talk.
Yeah, the small talk thing. I don't like it.
I feel like that's something that, at least for me, I've noticed as I get older, that I'm less interested in that. I want some genuine, like, you know, let's learn together, let's grow together, or like show me something. Like, I mean, other than that, you're just like going through motions of that talk. We're like, how are you? I'm good. Oh, cool. See you later.
Yeah, I feel like everybody hates it, but like for some reason, it just is. It's perpetuated as like a cultural norm. Like we just have to do this surface level thing. But we all hate it, right?
Yes.
Like let's stop doing it.
I think there's an age though where you hit a certain age where then you have to bring up the weather. Like it's just
especially when it's raining.
Yeah, how about that rain today? You know,
soggy.
But I don't know.
So many people that says that type of stuff.
Oh, I know.
Hot today, it's cold today.
We weren't, but you think about it, when you're a kid, you didn't be like, hey, what's up, man? It's supposed to be hot next week.
Yeah.
Like you'd never do that. It's like you hit a certain age where like the weather is now a very important conversation that we need to have about that.
Yeah, I'm a real firm believer that children come in probably the way we were meant to be, and then we just mess them up from there. I mean, really, you know, I mean, what do they want to do? They want to run around outside barefoot. They want to like snack. They eat like one thing. Yeah, they move all day. And then what do? We're like, sit down, clear your plate, put your shoes on, be quiet, don't be creative.
Yeah.
Adhere to the norms. I mean, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No,
and
it's
then the parents want the kids to go to school to whatever the parents want them to go to school. And then,
we were talking, I was telling him about this the other day. My mom used to always tell me, you didn't come with instructions. Like, basically, I'm doing my best, okay? I'm not going to be the perfect mom. I'm not going to always do these things right. I'm going to mess up, okay? And so I thought that was so cool to, like, kind of get that insight, even as a kid. But now that I'm a parent, like, seeing it too, you know, and then also having the compassion, like, my kids they didn't come with instructions. I didn't come with any. They don't, you know, at the end of the day, we all as humans are really, really just trying to work together, I think. And sometimes we're going to mess up. Sometimes we're not going to really be very compatible with other people. And whatever. That's what makes it all interesting and fun, I guess.
And trusting that, you know, we've all kind of been placed in these positions, you know, for a reason. You know, like we actually were just watching a show the other night, and I never expected Ashton Kutcher to be so deep. I don't know if you've watched anything he's done recently.
Not recently. Butterfly Effect was probably my last one.
Oh, wow. So it's been a while.
I love that movie, though.
Yeah.
Well, then there was one he got like married to Cameron Diaz in Vegas after they met each other.
Well, he went on this show. One of my favorite shows is, do you know who Bear Grylls is?
Yes. Heck yeah.
I love Bear Grylls.
You know? No. Oh, so he's
a British special agent. He was in like the British Special Services. Mm-hmm. And so he takes people out on these insane wilderness adventures to places you shouldn't go, where any normal person would die within like an hour. And he like makes them survive for 24 hours with him as their guide. But he's just like this lovely human.
Yeah, he's survivalist, I guess is what the word. But
that is the word, yeah.
Yeah.
So he had Ashton Kutcher on, and he took him on this great adventure.
Oh, shit.
And Ashton Kutcher was talking about, you know, his childhood and just like coming into Hollywood. And he said that he no longer thinks of his problems as like something that has happened to him, but like something that has been designed for him. Like, this problem is my curriculum in life, right? So like, instead of like, why? It's like, okay, this has been given to me for a reason, because I need to learn something, because I need to overcome this. And so instead of like falling below them, you like surf over your problems because they're yours, right? And kind of in the same way you get your parents and you get the other obstacles that you encounter in life because they were meant for you.
Right. No, that's true. It's goes kind of hand in hand where, and this isn't going to be verbatim, but it's something along the lines of like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, dealing with the things you're supposed to deal with. Life's okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all get caught up. And there's one thing that's cool. It's like, no matter what age you are, even, you know, in junior high, we all had moments. High school, we as adults, our parents could be having one right now. You know, it's not age specific, but things happen that you're like, got to figure this out.
Right.
You know, if life was easy, we'd all have the house up on the hill and the fancy car and not a care in the world, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't be cool if life was easy.
No, yeah.
Yeah. It is the struggle that really makes the joyful moments meaningful.
Yeah. But in the moment, man, some of them can seem awfully tough.
Right.
In like panic mode, you know, and like no one understands.
Yeah. Do either of you guys meditate?
I started reading this book, Think Like a Monk. And so it has some You've read the book?
Yeah.
You're the first person ever that
it
has been like
he has a podcast.
I've heard that. And I didn't know that till I was about 3/4 of the way through the book. But man, what a really good book, and like helped kind of broaden my outlook, even just on people and life, you know, talk about finding the smallest things to appreciate.
Yeah.
You know, you remember the part where he's talking about he'd go on the same walk
Yes,
every day.
I love
and
that.
He would try to find like just something different. I started doing that around my neighborhood, and I'll be like, all of a sudden I see a house. I've walked by this 100 times, and I'm like, that's actually a pretty sweet house. I never noticed that.
What do you like about meditating?
Well, I was brought to meditating because really when COVID hit, I was one of those people who was not okay. Like, I was like, I don't know if in a former life I died during the bubonic plague, but I mean, I was like, we're all going to die. This is bad. Right. And I just had that just constant response. And I felt like I can't protect my family. You know, I don't know what's going to happen here. And so I just got to a point of anxiety and misery that I'm like, I got to do something, you know, I can't live with myself like this.
Right.
So I found the Calm app.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah. And I did like the 30-day trial training, whatever. And then I just made it a daily part of my day. And it's not a huge thing, you know, but 10, 15 minutes to take that time to just, everything is allowed to be here. You know, that is like the primary tenet, that no matter what's going on, like the reason we have anxiety is because we try not to have anxiety, right? Those feelings come on and you're like, no, I don't want to feel this way. And that creates more feelings of, I don't want to feel this way. So if instead you say, everything's allowed to be here. And yeah, I have a little bit of a racing heart, or I have, you know, a little fear about that, and that's okay. And just kind of, you know, owning this human experience and in all of its ups and downs.
Makes sense.
And yeah, so I found a lot of peace in that.
Yeah, it's a good way too to be able to, like, when you feel some of that stuff coming on, which can happen to any of us at any time, like to be able to just kind of, I won't even say suppress it, but just identify, deal. Yeah. It's like the spot, stop, swap, you know, or did I say it? Spot, stop, swap. I don't know how I just said it, but it's spot the situations that normally get you to react in a way. Stop that behavior that you normally have and swap it with a new one. That's from the Think Like a Monk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm into all that kind of stuff.
How's that app? It's just some music in
the
background?
Well, the app is Calm. App? Calm is the name of the app. There's another one, Law of Attraction. I don't know if you mess with that one, but they have all different types. One of them is it's like a hypnosis category, and it's just literally like a 10 to 18 minute, very soothing, probably voice work someone did.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
There's the guy that I do the main guy, Jeff. I think that's his name. And he's just a regular guy that just leads you through just
like
a 10-minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's someone's voice.
Yeah.
But he doesn't sound like a normal. There is a lady that sounds like, and now we're going to go deep into your feelings.
She's almost too much for me.
I don't like that.
Yeah, she's
I
too
feel
much
like you're trying to make me calm, and I don't. And I feel like I resist her.
You know, I have anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. And he's just very like, hey, it's Jeff. Like, let's take a minute. And I'm like, yeah, Jeff, I'll take a minute with you. Like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff.
So, Mandy, when you were, you still do voiceover, but can you remember any nice like projects or unique things that you've done, or what was the nicest voiceover you've done, or the one that you had the most fun?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I mean, doing the Marvel app was pretty cool because I'm a big Marvel. You know, we watch all the movies in our house, and so just being associated with that brand felt like a real moment. And I got to be really over the top and super stoked about what it was. And, you know, it was like this really kind of loud, bold. And you don't often get called to do that.
Right.
So I think anytime you get to do something a little out of the ordinary, that's always fun. I love, not to go back to them again, but I love doing Watson Thomas spots because there's just they're kind of a quiet, calming, sincere message. And so like, I like to get into that soft place. And I think that's so different from what you hear most of the time on the radio. So, you know, I like to think that it's a real counter to whatever was probably before or after. And so then it makes it stand out all the more.
Okay. For the Marvel one, was it a commercial for them or just a...
So they had a new, it was a Strike Force. It was an app, but a game that you could play on your phone. And so I was introducing the characters, and you could like bind these characters together. You would make teams, and then their abilities would go up like based on who you paired together. So they were just like 3-minute long segments, but I got to do one for Thor and like the Red Witch, like some characters I didn't even that Marvel hasn't really expanded upon, but are in the comic series. That was just really cool that I did book the initial job, but then they came back to me for, you know, several different characters. Awesome. And of course that's the goal. You know, it's not the one job you book. It's the people who come back and say, hey, you were fun to work with and you made this easy and we want to do that again.
That's awesome.
So do the companies that you use that you're like signed up through, right? So these companies go to this company and then they go through all these folks like yourself. And then, so they pick you. And then,
Hopefully.
so does this company then take like a commission?
Yeah,
right?
they do.
I would assume. It can't be free.
Yeah,
right?
The one I'm on, I think they take 10% of the job. The other, it's a higher price to host your profile, but they don't take any commission. So they all are a little bit different.
And those are apps, like I think I remember you said the name. What's the name?
Yeah, so Voice 123 and then the Voice Realm.
Okay.
So those are the main two. And you know, I mean, every time I book a job, my hope is always, you know, like, hey, here's my contact info. Let's work together again. And you know, when they come back, that's
and
the main
usually
thing.
they want you to write the voiceover too.
No, not
they send
often.
You the text and then you only do
Yeah,
the
most of the time this is already stuff that's like ready to go.
Okay.
They just need a voice, you know, to go with their the video or the e-learning or whatever it might be. And I just, and it's all about a fast turnaround, because I mean, just like what you guys do, everything's on fire. You're riding down the hill backwards on the bicycle, and I get that because I worked in that business for so long. So I think the ability to just get it done right, give you options.
Mandy, is there ranks on this? Like, so the more you do, the better you start moving up to the top?
Yeah, so people can give you reviews, and you had to have, on Voice123, you had to have so many reviews before they would post like your star rating. So I finally reached that point where, I have 5 stars, which is really cool, but they didn't display it because they don't want one person to go on and give you 5 stars. And I get that, because that would skew people's opinion. But yeah, it is ranked. And then, as many people as you can to give you a written review, which I also post on my website, trulymadlymandy.com.
Say it again.
trulymadlymandy.com. And Truly Madly Mandy, just to give you like a reason, I feel like I've just reached this point in my life where I value authenticity above all else.
Yes.
And I just want to live an authentic life. So that's the truly part of it. The madly, because I mean, there is a little bit of madness and creativity. And I think that also speaks to my passion for what I do. I mean, I really do love to write and produce commercials and bring the power of sound to someone's benefit and branding. And then Mandy, because, that's what you're getting. So
that's me.
How do you think the industry is going to look like in 10, 15 years? Voiceover and writing, copywriting, video. The reason I'm asking this is that, I mean, now the digital world became big.
Yeah.
It's huge. And every day video becomes more important because before it was only TV and radio, and now the digital world it became huge.
Yeah.
So what I see now is that there'll be more videos coming and more voiceovers, more copywriting. What do you think is how the industry is gonna develop in the next years?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna slow down in any way. I do think that despite the fact that we are addicted to technology and it divides us in a lot of ways, I still think that people want to connect with other people. And I see that in the way that people contact me. For the most part, there's a lot of transactional. Hey, can you do this? Yeah, I do it. They send it back. They pay me. Done. Right? But then there's a lot of other people who want to have that interaction. And a lot of these people are also working from home 100% like I am. So these people are kind of my coworkers, right? I mean, this is the only interaction I get. My husband also works from home. We're those weird people. Yeah, I'm sure our neighbors are like,
I'm going to go in the other room for a little bit.
Yeah, like the kitchen's the break room.
Sure.
I mean, it's bizarre. And we never imagined having this life. But it just kind of came about. So I think that there will continue to be a high need. I think that people will continue to find ways to do things remotely because it's cheaper, because people like to have that freedom, because it allows you to do whatever it is you're doing and whatever else you want to do. But also, I think people will continue to call back on people and not just make everything a transaction. If you find somebody you like and they're easy to work with, then let's work together. Like, let's have these little, side coworker like relationships, and then we can all benefit, and it makes life just a little bit more lovely.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe we can get Victor some voiceover work over the next.
Have you ever done voiceover work?
I'm not using my voice, no, but I mean, we do a lot of video production, so we hire people to do the voiceovers often. So, and copywriting we do a lot as well. Right. Not only for videos, but persuasive copywriting for landing pages, for websites, for ads on Facebook, Instagram. So we do a lot of copywriting and some voiceovers for the videos too. So
cool.
It's something that there's a high demand for that.
If you ever need one for like a man with a woman's name, very emotional, I know a friend. It's not me.
No, it's not you.
Why were you looking at me like that?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
With a woman's
You thought
it's It's not spelled like the woman's
No,
name,
I know,
though.
but
You're
only
good.
everyone who emails me, they spell it that way.
Do they?
It is Lauren. It's very common.
Lauren.
Lauren, Loren, is... oh, by the way, I'm going to bring this up. I was listening to one of our podcasts, and the words were all coming, right?
Yeah.
Do we do that, or does YouTube?
YouTube.
Oh, because they put Lauren on my name. It says, I'm Lauren Fulmer. And it says, I'm Lauren Fulmer. And I was watching it, and they spelled my name wrong. And I'm like, how's Victor going to spell my name wrong, man? So it's YouTube.
Yeah, if YouTube is recommending those words, it's because people are searching wrong. Like, people are misspelling it wrong.
Okay.
When they try to
Well, when they put Lauren, I'm sure that's how most people do it.
You should wear a name tag.
Well, look, my email is even Loren.
Oh.
Dot. And they'll put Loren to get the email, but then down below say, hey, Lauren.
No.
And I'm like, how? You had to put Loren
That's so
to
bizarre.
get. But I accept it. It's cool.
Yeah.
You call me whatever you want. Let's just keep
Mr.
moving
Fulmer.
on. Right.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much for coming and being a part of our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Can I do a quick plug?
Yes. I was going to tell you to, actually.
This is kind of unrelated, but the Orpheum Theater is doing their annual holiday radio play. Okay. So it's a 1940s radio show, and the audience members are basically, you're the audience member that you would have been in 1940. Like, you walk in and you see the actors up on stage, you see the old microphones, everyone's in character dress, 1940s garb. And then the sound effects are all done by a Foley artist, which is, actually Foley artists still do a lot of the sounds for movies. I don't know if you guys know a lot of, if you've watched any of those documentaries, those are really fun to watch, like how they make the sound effect of someone getting punched in the face. And so we have a Foley artist, and then the show is written by my very dear friend, Tim Holmes, who is the box office manager at the Orpheum and also co-owns Performing Arts Academy. Oh, okay. So he writes a little holiday play, and then we get on stage and perform it. And I'm very lucky and excited to be part of this year's show. I've done it before, but this is the first time in like 3 years, like since COVID. So Catherine Brent is my character's name. So Catherine is returning to the stage. And it's a really fun, sweet, nostalgic evening. Bring the children. It's Tuesday, December 20th. Okay. And it's just a really good time. And they will record it that night live, then rebroadcast it on Tri-State's Public Radio over the holiday weekend.
Cool.
So you can kind of hear, the way people would have tuned in if you didn't get to be in the studio audience. Yeah,
and they've done that for quite a while. I've seen that. I've never been, but I have seen that advertised.
I want to say this is like the 8th year. We've done It's a Wonderful Life. I got to play Mary Bailey. And then, of course, Miracle on 34th Street. But the last few years, Tim has just written these really lovely little shows that are inspired by scripts from that time period. And that gives it a completely new take, because there's only so many times you can see, Miracle on 34th Street.
Have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life?
No.
It's a black and white Christmas movie?
No.
We'll have to watch it.
Yeah, must do.
That's my favorite. It is my favorite Christmas movie. I'll watch it every year.
Yeah, it gets me every
cool.
time.
You got to be Mary.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kevin Maynard played George Bailey that year. He was still at the Orpheum.
I can see Kevin killing that too.
Yeah. So that was really fun.
That's cool. Yeah, you'll have to watch that sometime. It's black and white. It'll be a little old school, but it's got a beautiful story.
Is that anything to do with the most wonderful time of the year, the song, or it has nothing to do?
No, it has the only thing that they have in common is Christmas, probably. Okay. But
it's a lovely, lovely message. So if you can join us for that Tuesday, December 20th, you can get your tickets
at that camera there.
Okay, yes. So go to
this one here.
The Orpheum. Is it .org or .com? Do you know?
I think it's org, but don't quote me.
Okay.
I think it is org.
Theater,
yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. So go to the Orpheum Theater website or to the box office. I believe tickets are just $10, which is super affordable, and you get to spend the evening in that lovely historic theater, have a little holiday moment with your family, just in time for the actual Christmas.
Oh yeah.
It's 12 days, you guys.
I know. I'm going to start shopping tomorrow.
I'm so behind.
I haven't shopped.
And also plug your one more time your own personal website.
Yes, so
And podcast.
trulymadlymandy.com is my website. Please go there. I have all of my demos, so you can hear what I sound like when I do commercials or e-learning or tutorials, that kind of thing. All my character voices, those are kind of fun. And you know, if something comes up that you think, hey, maybe that gal who does the branding stuff could help me, just call me, you know. And if I can't help you, I know somebody who can help you. But I'm very passionate about making sure that people are finding the thing about their business that makes them unique, and then finding a meaningful and interesting way to share that message with people so their people can find them.
Right.
Because, you know, when we talk about branding, why do you buy the things you buy? It's not that this red shirt is that different from this red shirt, but you like the people who are making this red shirt.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like there's something about this that makes me feel inspired or sporty or proud or confident, or just like I'm giving back to the environment. So anyways, I would love to help you. trulymadlymandy.com. And this has been so fun.
Yeah. Thank you so
the
much.
podcast is a little bit off track with Eric Hansen and Ted Bevenauer and myself, and those will be released in January. So
Invite us to go there. We would love to.
would you come on?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
It'd be fun.
He plays the banjo.
Yes.
That counts.
I'm kidding.
I know. I just made that up.
Oh, Lauren,
You can't take me serious. You know
I
that.
totally bought that.
I know that'd be. I bet he could.
I can try to play.
Yeah, by January he'll have it down.
Yeah, if you start working on it now.
All right, we'll get it. We'll get him up to tune.
Okay, all right.
Seriously though, thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining
yeah,
us. I had
thanks
a
for
blast,
having me.
Mandy.
Yeah.
All right.
See you
Thank
guys
you,
next
everyone.
week.
Tune in to the Talk About It podcast. Subscribe, all of that, and thank you so much for listening and watching the episode with Mandy Balser. We'll see you guys at our next episode, Talk About It podcast. Thank you for watching this episode of the Talk About It podcast.
I'm Victor Dantas.
I'm Lauren Fulmer.
And we would encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell. It's going to be right below the video. So you
Hit
guys,
the bell.
so you know when the next episode is up. All
We
right?
appreciate all the support.
Thank you.